Hi, I'm Yarlik, and welcome to this tool-assisted speedrun in the category Ghostbusters. Now, this is an interesting category. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Hallownest is haunted. And don't believe what people tell you about dreamers and infection and all these other things. That's not the real problem here. The real problem here is the ghosts. And so TAS here is going to deal with that problem. Now, the early game is pretty standard. Make our way through KP, do little frame-perfect nail knockbacks to get a little bit of extra momentum, and just kind of make our way through. Get the Venge Flat Pogo. And then, of course, we get our RNG softball, because we can keep trying until we get it, and that's what happened. Now, normally, most players would go and get Vengeful Spirit for this category, because we need to get access to Greenpath. But TAS has a different idea. Instead, we're going to backtrack here, and we're going to go grab Fury of the Fallen. Now, Fury of the Fallen is a very interesting charm. You're probably aware of it. It basically allows you to do significantly more damage whenever you are at 1 health, which for TAS is ideal because that's not a problem at all. Now, it does take a while to pick up. We have to sit through this annoying cutscene, but we can save and quit back to the ledge and continue from there. So ultimately, what we're going to be doing with Fury is, well, we're going to be using it to get extra damage throughout the run, but also it's going to give us access through a trick called Itemless Balder to Greenpath. It's a little bit of a misnomer since it uses Fury to be optimal, but technically you can do it without. So we do want to grab the Balder as soon as possible, but we're going to go and do a little side quest here first. We're going to grab this bench, since we need to equip Fury, and equipping it in dirt bounce is pretty slow. First we got to take out some aspids. No real problem. Double spike, they're gone. And then we can grab the bench. And while we're there, we can quickly equip Fury. Now, we could go do the Balder now, which probably would have been optimal, but at the time I didn't think through the route perfectly, so we're actually going to go set up the Shade first. This is kind of a leftover from the original spellless route, which needed to go to Salubrid to get Longnail. So as a result, it's still doing that. It's just instead of getting Longnail, we're just going to leave our Shade there. But it's not a huge amount of time loss, and the TAS is still going to be pretty fast elsewhere. While we're on the way there, we're going to set up Fury as much as we can. Make the long walk through the room with no nail knockbacks. And now we can take out Gressmother. This fight's pretty quick. And we also get to take out her children. The cleanup here is always very satisfying with TAS. Now we're going to go ahead and save Sly, since we're going to need to buy a key later. And now we can go and set up our Shade. So we're just going to leave that there. We'll come back for it later. So now we have what we need to start heading toward Greenpath. This climb here is always fun with TAS. You can do these nice precise jumps. And then we take a quick hit there, and then we cancel with inventory so that we don't knock back. And this gets us to the perfect health to set up this itemless boulder. This bit knocks us forward, and then the boulder is open for a single frame, which allows us to do damage. And now we've set up Fury, which allows us to perfectly get it within 8 nail swings. And there's just enough time to heal between each cycle. That's not really a human viable trick. It's way too precise, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately for those who would otherwise have to attempt it. So now we go through Greenpath. It takes a little while since we don't have dash, but we could use nail knockbacks to help a bit. And there are quite a few places we can nail knockback.
Yep.
And of course we use our friend Steve here. Or not Steve, that's Eric. I get them confused. We make our way over here. And continue nail knockbacking through. Then a fun little knockback there. Aesthetic slash fireball skip skip. And now we go and fight the Moss Knight. We're going to want this Geo, because we have a lot of things to buy later. Well, really it's just the key, but we do have a couple of stag stations as well. And now we can head up here, and we're also going to grab some Geo from the Benchfly King. Everybody's favorite Geo Pinata. Sadly, Zod is not a ghost, so we don't get to banish him, but it is what it is. Technically, we save him. So, we're going to grab a little bit more Geo. We don't need a ton, so we're not going to be super picky about getting every piece, because we want to keep things moving pretty quickly, but we grab a fair amount of it. Now we're going to dip down here to grab the stag station, because we're going to be back here later for some things. And now we can finally go fight Hornet. Thankfully, the Fury fight is fairly quick. TAS is able to manipulate things and basically keep up full cooldown nail swings. And there we go. We got dash. The slow part of the run is now over, and now we can get into the fun stuff. So at this point, we have two choices. We could go grab Claw, or we could go get D-Nail. And we are going to go get D-Nail. The Dream Nail is very important because it is how we banish ghosts, which of course we know is the real goal of the game. And as a result, we're going to want that fairly quickly. That, and there are a few things that we can do while we're over in Resting Grounds. We're going to do a standard shade skip here. We don't have Fireball, of course, so we have to damage tank and do that. Nice and easy. It's actually not easy. We swim our way across Blue Lake very, very steadily and slowly. might notice that our soul is not fixed yet. Apparently that's just a visual display bug. I'm not sure why it happened, but it'll fix itself once we load in somewhere else. Specifically, I think we have to save and quit for that to fix itself. We wait for the seer patiently, and then jump up and get onto the platform before it actually appears, which is always fun. Dreamplats are always fun, as you can basically keep dashing almost on cooldown. And we finally get the dream nailed. Of course, we don't want to waste time talking to the seer, so we're going to do a quick little seer skip, which is very easy on this patch. Maybe not quite so easy. And then we can go unlock the stag, because we're going to need to be back here later, since the Glade is thoroughly infested with ghosts. So now we can go down and get Claw. So the movement down through Fungal isn't anything too complicated. Imagery drops where we can, little nail knockback to clear obstacles, all that fun stuff. So here Cloth comes out, but we're not going to talk to her just yet. And Cloth is a bit of a problem for this run. She's the only ghost that doesn't actually start as a ghost. We have to help her fulfill her destiny first. So there's going to be a fair amount of effort to do that. Now here we would normally do Ipoko, but instead we're going to go and grab what's possibly the best charm in the game for TAS. Just dash our way through, bounce off some Mantises, and drop down wherever we can. We're able to use a little bit of corner knockback there to get off the corner and fall. We're going to ignore Bretta since she's not a ghost and she's not involved with ghosts at all. And now we can grab the Dashmaster. For those unaware, this allows you to dash on a much shorter cooldown, and it also allows you to dash downward, which for human players can be very annoying on this patch, 1432, since it can cause you to dash downward when you don't want to. But for TAS, it's not a problem, and it's going to be extremely useful for many, many purposes in this run. As you can see, we're already moving horizontally so much more quickly. Zip our way through here. We open the lever, Mantis toggle up. Nice and straightforward. So now that we have Claw, we want to get a few other things. In particular, our end goal here is to get to Tram Pass, as we're going to need to visit a couple of places that are easier to get to with the tram. But we're also going to go grab Galien, so we're going to head over to Deepnest. Dash through here, get some knockback off the mushrooms where we can. And then dash and go across these, awkwardly land at the bottom of that ball. Couldn't find a better way to do that. And make our way through. And now everybody's favorite drop. Everybody's favorite moment from their casual playthrough. and to deep nest. This room's a bit awkward since the Garpede cycles are annoying. We have to wait for that one there. There is a way to damage tank through it, but we need both damage tanks for this upcoming one. And since we're overcharmed, we're going to lose all our health here, so we had to do that. Otherwise, it takes forever to wait for that thing. And now we just bounce our way through here. Fall so quickly that we can actually grab the bench before the camera catches up, and then start making our way to Galien. We're going to have to go through some dark rooms here, but that's not really a problem for TAS. There are plenty of spikes in here, but we could just use those as little boosts. Bounce off an enemy or two. Dodge a few spiders. And on we go. Galien is going to be a fun fight, as this is the first time we get to show off how Dashmaster operates as a combat charm. In particular, with Dashmaster, you can nail knockback or nail hit and dash on cooldown, interleaving the two without ever having to slow down. And just like that, Galien is done. And that's with Nail Zero Fury. So now that we got that essence, which we're going to need later to unlock the Glade, we are going to go head up to Trampas. Carvers aren't really an issue since they're too slow. And voila, we now have access to the train, which we're going to use pretty much immediately. We have to go through another Garpede room, but as you'll see coming up here, Dashmaster actually helps quite a bit. We do have one damage tank that we need to do here, but we can use down dashes to avoid the one that you normally have to do after it. So we have a couple things we need to do. Ultimately, we want to go to Hive because we're going to need to get Vespa. But first, we're going to make a quick stop by Basin. And this is because of Cloth, the problematic one. In order to fulfill her destiny, she has to survive the encounter here with some enemies. And so we're going to go save her. It's unfortunate that she couldn't just die and leave a ghost somewhere else, but that's just not the way it works. And really, that's what's going to create so many problems for this run. But it also is what makes it very interesting. And we're done. Now we head towards Kingdom's Edge. And make our way to everyone's favorite area. We're going to damage tank a bit, as we're going to want Fury. As you know, everyone wants to be on Fury as soon as possible in the Hive. We're going to wait for this little bee to be helpful and let us up. That way we don't need wings. And in we go. We can damage tank here. We can reopen inventory while we're inventory dropping there to be able to continue without having to fall without it. And the drill bees are going to help keep things interesting. But otherwise, pretty straightforward movement. here, we're going to have some more interesting moments with the drill bees. You just have to kind of stay in that corner up there and wall jump until we get it down. Honestly, the most annoying part of this is those hunting walls, since we don't have access to BS. But they're not a big deal. And now, we're going to greet Hive Night by doing the traditional bouncing of the bees. And now for a fun little fight. So as you can see, Hive Night's not too difficult. You just dash across and down dash whenever needed if you're getting too much height. Dodge the little spikes, bounce around, dodge again, dodge the bees, follow him when he flies through the air. Really, it's all pretty straightforward. Now, in order to get Vespa to spawn, we're going to have to leave the room first. And it's actually fastest to leave the room rather than go towards the Hive blood. And now we can banish the ghost. Vespa is busted. So, back to cloth. We have to get there, which means ultimately we need to make it to the Traitor Lord fight. That means that we need to get Shade Cloak, which means we need to get the King's Brand so that we can get to the Abyss. So we're up to go fight Hornet 2. Take advantage of Dashmaster to zoom through these horizontal rooms pretty quickly. This spot in particular, you can get the Dashmaster cycles quite nicely. Now we get to wave to the hoppers as we pass through. Damage tanks to set up Fury for the Hornet fight later. Hoppers are kind of fun as we're able to bounce underneath them and knock them up and do all sorts of fun things with them. So here, normally you'd need wings, but this aspid is going to help us up. Needs a little encouragement, but then it gives us a nice little bounce up. Do a couple trans dashes there to make our way across. And we're up. We go say hi to Hornet. And with Dashmaster you can almost catch her, but not quite. Here we go. She seems to wonder why we haven't dealt with any of these dreamers that supposedly we're supposed to be visiting and saving or something, I don't know. But we have to deal with the ghosts. So we need to hit her a few times so that she goes away. We try to manipulate RNG here to get favorable attacks, but every now and then we do still get some parries and things that require a little bit more time. But still a fairly quick fight. Dash across the long room and grab the King's Brand. So, coming up here, normally in a run that goes here, you would often have Dreamgate, and Dreamgate allows you to get out much more quickly. Unfortunately, we don't need Dreamgate. We can't really afford the time to get it, so we're going to have to go the long way. But Dashmaster does help to make this a bit faster. grab a little bit of geo here, since that's a nice convenient rock, so it gives a fair amount. The hoppers are helpful as always. Down dashes to speed things up. We can fall through that room so quickly that we get there before we even see the exit. And then make our way back to the tram. So we're going to head down to the Abyss now, because we want to get our Shade Cloak set up. So we stop off at Basin, and then drop on down. We're going to do a little inventory drop here with another reopening to quickly make our way down. And then here we're going to use a inventory drop that was prototyped by Jinkar. Go across. We're going to do a nail cancel to get off the corner, and then inventory drop down. So this is an interesting section. Normally, for the sibling climb up to the lighthouse, you'd have wings, but we don't. So we're going to use the siblings instead to help us go up without having to go around. Not too difficult. And now it's just a long series of dashes to get across the lake. And then we grab Shape Hook and quit up right away. And this section's a little bit tricky, as, again, normally you'd have Dreamgate to get out, but we don't. So we're going to go all the way back up through the Abyss. Which means we have to go across the lake again. Climb out of the Abyss is also going to be interesting, since, as with the lighthouse climb, we do not have wings. So we're just going to do this with Fawn Dash. Thankfully, it's not too difficult. We're able to use the little crawlers still there to give us little boosts here and there. Work our way around them. Take advantage of scenery. And before you know it, we're out. So rather than going around a long way, we're going to trans-dash here, like that, and make our way up the right side. So what we're doing here is we're going to head up to City, and ultimately we want to grab the King Station, because we're going to need to come back to City later after we buy a key. And as long as we're here, we can also make a quick stop to do a bit of robbery in order to get the geo that we're going to need later for the key. We can kill the hangers-on pretty quickly. The gorgeous husk takes a bit longer, since for some reason Their HP is very high, but not a very difficult fight. Now we can head to King Station. Get some cheeky nail hits on the way. Do a little bit of wiggle dancing to make the bell come up faster. And the stag will take us to Greenpath. So from here, we're going to make our way to Cloth. And to do that, we need to take the Queen's Garden entrance that's gated by Shade Cloak. One that doesn't get used in too many categories. This section is mostly a lot of dashing. And dash there. Damage tank to get a little bit of Fury setup. Because on the way, we are going to stop and get a bit of Geo from the massive Moss Charger. We can't do a one cycle since we don't have VS. But we'll be able to take care of it fairly quickly. Use a little manipulation there to try to get it on the right side, and then gather all the Geo that wants to fly everywhere. We didn't get all of it, but we got enough of it. Now we can dash away through here, use a little down dash to sneak past the jellies, get past the electricity. And make our way into the Queen's Gardens. So coming up here, we're going to be getting to a very fun fight, High Cloth. This is the Petra's Arena, which can cause a lot of problems for this run, at least for humans. The Petras have this tendency to like to fly towards the ceiling, so we use pogos where possible to keep them kind of under control, and then grab the Geo where we can. Now there are some ghosts hiding in here, so we're going to make a quick detour. Excellent, they've been put to rest. And we can continue now. Gotta make it through this little gauntlet. Since on this patch you can't just hazard work to get down below. But it's fairly straightforward. The dashes are in good places. So a lot of routes here would be heading towards Deep Nest, but we don't need to do that. We've already been there. So we're going to be heading up to the upper arena. And this is a fun fight. There are a lot of enemies that spawn here. And Dashmaster allows us to do some very fun things. Like that. As before, those Petras are very annoying if you don't keep them under control. So being able to pogo them like that makes it a lot easier to manage. Here we can arrange some nice double hits. You get the last Petra. Nice and easy. Now we just have to make it through some more platforming gauntlets to get to Traitor Lord. Thankfully, we don't have to go through the frogs. Although that can be kind of fun with TAS too. an interesting fight. You can hit them before they spawn in, which is a strange little quirk of this patch. Well, most patches, actually. Sadly, they don't drop Geo on this patch, which is unfortunate, because it's required us to get Geo at a few other places instead. Hey, Gloth. You'll be a ghost soon. Now we're going to heal, as we want to do a scream skip. Like that. You might notice that we're able to use down dashes here with Shade Cloak to dodge the Traitor Lord when they dash through us. Very convenient, since normally the Traitor Lord is quite tall, and it makes it awkward to jump over them and keep the attacks going. This is basically a perfect fight, as we're able to keep up the nail hits on cooldown. And it takes quite a few nail hits when you're on nail 0. Excellent. Cloth has fulfilled their destiny. And now she'll leave the ghost that we need to banish. Thank you, Cloth. So now we are going to go up and get Joni. And to get there, we're going to go up through Greenpath. And this is going to be interesting. So we do need to grab a little bit more Geo. So we're going to take out this Moss Knight. So now we're going to be good after we get the Geo from a Balder coming up here. So we don't really want to do itemless Balder, but thankfully we have Dash, and you can also use Dash to get in there and get those hits. It's nice and easy. Now we get to do a fun little climb through cliffs here to get up to Joni's. Lots of little wall jumps. And this is a dark room, but thankfully there's spikes everywhere, and these spikes will help us make progress. Also a few enemies that we can pogo off of to help us up. Pretty easy. Then we can inventory drop and say hi to Joni. And say bye to Joni. Thank you. So now we're going to head to Dirtmouth, as we have a few things to take care of there. We have a bit of shopping that we want to do because we need to buy a key. And then there's also a ghost here, the Grave Digger. And that's done. So now we're getting very close to the end here. We still have to deal with the largest infestation of ghosts, however, which is appropriately in the resting grounds in the Glade. So this is why we got that essence from Galien earlier. We're going to go talk to the Seer, and she'll open up the Glade for us. So, if you're not familiar with the Glade, the gimmick here is that we need to banish each of the ghosts, but once we start doing so, Revik, that guy, is going to try to interfere. So, we can use a combination of dodges and occasionally a deflect to buy ourselves the time that we need. Here we actually can get a nail knockback, or a damage tank knockback, in addition to dream nailing Revok. And that actually is a little bit faster than just dodging him. Overall, it's pretty quick, and Revok's not too hard to dodge. And then coming up here, we actually get to use Shade Cloak to dodge right through him several times. Which is quite nice. Here we can get 2 ghosts at once. Another Shade Cloak. And then the last ghost here. And then now we just need to backtrack a bit to grab Revok himself. Now that we've ruined his life's work, we can help him be at rest. So now there's just a few ghosts left. And they are going to be in City. Which is why we bought that key earlier. Dash our way through. Using Shade Cloak where we can and pogoing off the helpful little enemy there. Now this part's a little awkward. We have to take this elevator. We can't really skip the elevator as the walls are a little bit too high. At least for most of it. For the very last bit, we can still skip it, which is a little bit faster. Now we get to say hi to Marissa. And say bye to Marissa. And then finally, the last of the ghosts. And just like that, all the ghosts have been busted.